Alright everyone, and welcome back. Today we've got a video for the First Descendant and a little bit of a build guide and a breakdown on one of the most rare mods in the game, and one that I think you should be getting for not just Viessa, which we're going to showcase today and break down the Transcendent mod, but you really should be trying to get some of the Transcendent modules for any of the characters that you're running. I know that Bunny is the flavour of the month at the minute, but these things are absolutely game changing, so I just want to break down what it does, how to use it, the best ways to use it, and if you should be getting it. So in return, maybe drop a like and leave a sub so that you can come back next time for some more helpful The First Descendant content, and maybe also tell a friend as well. So currently the Transcendent modules can be farmed somewhat using one of the missions located within the Vespers area, which is the Calling of the Descendant mission, which is basically just located off of the main spawn point where you climb up. And to be fair, this thing, it does say estimated playtime 20 minutes or less, but you can farm this in pretty much 5 minutes, roughly 3 minutes if you get a really good team. It is match made as well, and although it does say that you can only get the Electrical Condense Transcendent mod, which is basically Bunny's Transcendent module for her skill module, you can actually get Transcendent modules for any of your characters, and this is where I got the one for Viessa. The drop rate for it is pretty low. It does say a 1.2% drop chance, but I got this probably after maybe about an hour of farming, maybe less to be honest. So, you know, just grind it out. You know, if you get this run down, and I'll put some gameplay in the background, but basically you can do this in 3, 4, 5 minutes, even LFG in with no comms. The mission is super easy. It's only level 28. You're going to get tons of modules and other loot from this, although it's not technically going to level you up too much once you get to them higher levels, but it's perfect for farming these Transcendent modules at the minute. But anyway, enough of that. We need to get into what the Cold Bloodedness Transcendent module does for Viessa. Now, in terms of the rest of the setup for this, then I like setting up the Transcendents with just the maximum cooldown possible for the skills. So all the modules here are basically ones that are going to decrease my skill cooldown as much as possible. But obviously the Cold Bloodedness module is a Transcendent module, and this basically changes the Frost Road ability, which is probably going to be one of the main ones that you've been using for Viessa. And this one states that when using a skill, it increases the skill power and decreases the skill cost and skill cooldown. However, it does remove the frost roads in so that they are not created when you're running. So what does that mean in terms of gameplay? Well, if you look at the Descendant tab on the menu, you can go through basically all the skills, and obviously we've got all the good ones with frost shards, with cold snap, with the blizzard, and then obviously the passive skill of ice spear. Now the main one that you do use, and that is going to be changed as a result of this, is Frost Road. And like I say, I like to set it up so that I've got a pretty much near infinite uptime of the Frost Road ability, whereby, as you can see, the cooldown for it is about 21 seconds, and then the duration of the Frost Road is 20 seconds. So give or take, you know, half a second, this basically has infinite uptime as it is. And then Frost Road also gives you a movement speed increase. It also gives you a shield recovery increase, and it will also freeze enemies. And I like to just run loops around enemies, and it's great for them ones that rush you and can cause you some dramas, especially in solo content as such. But as great as this ability is, I think the Cold Bloodedness does actually increase the viability of the rest of the skills, which I think probably a little bit slept on Viessa. So let's have a look and see what the module does with the Cold Bloodedness equipped. So if we go and equip the mod, basically that will change Frost Road to Cold Bloodedness. So if we save that and we go back to our Descendant, we can now see that the Frost Road has disappeared, and we've now got the skill description whereby we gain Cold Bloodedness when using this skill. On Xbox, this is bound to LB and B on a press, so whatever your keybind is for that skill. And this one again, also because of my setup, basically has an infinite cooldown loop. The base cooldown of Cold Bloodedness is 21.4 seconds and it lasts for 22 seconds with my current setup. So although technically in game you don't realistically get any sort of like HUD modifier or indication that this skill is active, and the only way that I've been able to manage seeing that it's active is by basically just looking at the cooldown, knowing that my cooldown is about 22 seconds and the duration of it I know is 22 seconds, so I know that it's active for that full duration. So I just wanted to just show off what it does and like how much it actually does change the cooldown of your abilities. Now I'm just going to put in some gameplay here of me doing the rotations, one with Cold Bloodedness equipped and then the other one without Cold Bloodedness equipped and the Frost Road ability instead. Obviously Frost Road's going to give you that movement speed, and I think that one probably is better if you are farming certain lower level missions and you're not too bothered about, you know, being overwhelmed and getting destroyed and one shot by enemies. Whereas I think Cold Bloodedness, it gives you, you know, a bit of a boost to your other skill abilities. It's going to give you a 5% skill power increase. It's going to reduce the cost of your other skills by 20%, and it also reduces the cooldown of them by 20%. So essentially you are going to get maybe 1 or 2 abilities, especially with the Frost Shard. You're going to get this one back near, you know, 5 or 6 times potentially in between the cooldown of the Cold Bloodedness, whereas with just Frost Roads you're not going to get that massive cooldown and you're not going to be able to use this, you know, Frost Shards ability, which is absolutely excellent at taking out lower health enemies and does do a decent amount of chunk damage, especially if you've leaned into increasing your skill power with the rest of your module setups and everything like that. Obviously, in terms of increasing your skill power, you're going to want to lean in on maxing out your reactors. The one that I've got at the minute is only level 28, but as you can see, my skill power, when I have this all optimized and equipped, then I'm nearly getting 2000 skill power per skill, and this is also getting a little bit of a skill cooldown reduction. So in terms of gameplay wise, then I think the Cold Bloodedness really is a good endgame option for Viessa. It does give you a little bit of flexibility in your abilities and what you wanted to use at any given moment, and it really does allow you to essentially spam some of your abilities a bit more. Obviously the Blizzard is one of the main ones that is going to dish out good damage, especially to higher health enemies. So if you're getting a 20% cooldown on that ability, you're going to have this one up a lot more often, and it's going to do that massive area effect and explosion which takes out them lower level enemies really quickly, and it also does do good chunk damage to boss type enemies as well. And I've been using this a ton to farm that mission to basically get the Transcendent module, and I'm going to be using it a lot more as well going forward. So just wanted to do a bit of a breakdown on, you know, the Transcendent module and what it does for Viessa. If you did enjoy this video, then a like is really much appreciated, and if you want to see more build type videos for the First Descendant, then I've got plenty coming up. I've got a ton of farming that I've been doing for this game, so I hope that you found this one helpful. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which you can click right here.